So the CT plastic is the most understable. The rubber blend plastic is medium stable. And the ESP plastic, that's the most overstable. Blew it. That'll do. So let's get into what I'm bagging right now. And let's start from the outside in. This is my Zuka. I love having a cart. Anytime the conditions are favorable, I prefer to tow a cart around. Inside, I've got a nice sturdy Ranger bag here. I've had this for a long time, I think almost 3 or 4 years now, and I bought it used, well used, and so I keep this in here because I think that this is the bag that the Zuka was made for. This is the cart that the Ranger was made for. It fits nicely. It allows me to maximize the space in this top compartment here. It's a great seat. Some of the other carts on the market will have a lower seat, sort of like I'm on now, and I find that when I'm waiting in between holes at a backup, or if I'm just playing casually, playing some mob golf, taking a long time, I don't want to sit quite so low here where my knees are fully bent. I prefer the upright stance that the Zuka gets me, and that's why I'll probably never buy another cart. Sorry, Team Robot. Up top, I've got a Ridge Roller putter pouch holding 4 of my putting putters. Up until recently, I was trying out the Infinite Disc Power Pocket. It's also a great putter pouch. It can hold a lot more than putters. If you want to max it out, it can hold like 8 to 10 discs, depending on what you put in there. It might even hold a dozen if you really push it. But I found that having that much space actually made things more confusing for me. So I decided to go back to the Ridge Roller putter pouch. It's really convenient, and actually you might notice I've got some extra strapping going on here. That's because I can pop this off my cart and use it as a shoulder bag anytime I want. It's about the same size as the nutsack bag or the bindle bag that you can get from Dynamic Discs or from Hand Eye Supply. So this holds my putting putters, and everything else is down here. Starting at the top, I typically keep a lot of towels up here. I keep the beverages that I'm drinking during the round up here, and anything that comes in and out of the bag a lot that's not a disc is going to go in the top here because it's so easily accessible. On my side pocket here, I've got a few things, one of which is a dry hand solution. This is marketed for ball golfers, but it's essentially hand sanitizer with chalk in it. At least that's what it feels like to me. And so when you drop a little bit in your hands, you are able to chalk up your hands and dry them out at the same time, which helps me get a good grip during winter rounds or during rain rounds. So in here, I've also got some backup minis. I typically use a Rochester City Flower mini printed by the one and only Jeff Carson. I love this thing. It's my favorite colors, and it gives me good luck on the green, or at least convinces me that I have it. I also keep a couple backup Innova swirly kind of cheapo minis. You collect these a lot of times playing AM tournaments, and so I just hang on to them because every once in a while someone needs one, and I wouldn't really be dying to get either of these back. And I have my world record holder, Kyle Edwards, 224-foot disc. He's a monster. Watch out for that guy. On the side here, I've got my birdie bag. Now, the chalk solution is a desperate measure. When I'm playing a full rain round, that's when I need that. If I'm playing a winter round and my hands are in and out of my mittens, and even though my mittens are getting sweaty at this point, it's the best place to keep my hands warm. When I'm playing your average round, what I typically carry is a birdie bag. And this is a fresh birdie bag that is brand new from Millennium Games with their logo on it. And what the thing about a birdie bag is that you do want to keep it in here. They come with these kind of tough bags And that is important because otherwise what you're seeing on here, you're gonna lose even faster. So you keep it in the bag, fold it up and keep it in its own pocket is what I do in case the chalk starts to get all over the place. Then you'll have good grip whenever you need it, or you do brawn thing. Anyway, now on any round you're obviously going to need some water. Shouldn't leave the door without water. I'm not good about that, but you should be. And also here on the right side, I've got a first aid kit. Important to have in most situations. If you don't have one in your bag, you should probably have one in your car. And a sunscreen stick in case I forget to put it on before the round. Let's get into the good stuff. These are my throwing putters, and these are my putting putters. They're all Lunas. So I'm going to start with the daily driver. These two here are my putting putters inside the circle for almost everything. These are Rubber Blend Lunas in a black on black, which I really love, and I've been putting with Lunas for a good long time now. If you saw my putting practice video, then you saw my putting stack that is all Rubber Blend Lunas, and I use it in the yard on shots like this. These are my Crazy Tough Lunas. I love these for longer putts because they hold just a little bit straighter. The Crazy Tough plastic, the CT plastic, is straighter for longer than a Luna's going to be. So I use these for jump putts a lot, and I'll use these if I'm stagger putting from just outside the circle. Maybe I just need to get a little more straight carry on it. If I'm using an Anheuser angle on my putt, and I need it to come out, then I'm using a Rubber Blend. If I need it to carry right the whole time, then I'm going with CT. So I putt with these, and I putt with those black ones. Same plastic as the black putter, but this is my throwing Rubber Blend Luna. When you get these off the tee or in the fairway, they get a nice shape to them. This is pretty much exclusively for turnover shots. If I really hyzer it and throw it pretty hard for a putter, then I can get it to go straight, but for the most part, it's going to turn over and it's going to finish going right. So in the case that I want that, it's great, and the reason I carry this is basically to protect my putting putters. I don't want to make one of my putting putters distinct from the other one. I prefer that they're interchangeable, that's why I get the matching pairs. So this is the Luna that I use for throwing in the Rubber Blend plastic. This is a brand new 2022 Tour Series Luna with the Ghost stamp. I'm trying to show it on the camera there. These feel great. I like the swirly plastic. Discraft's been on their swirl game recently, and what I'm finding with this is that it's a little bit straighter than the Big Z Luna, and it definitely can hold a lot more power than my Rubber Blend can. So when I want to throw maybe 220-ish to around 200 feet, and I still need to get some shape on it, I'm going to go to this swirly ESP 2022 Tour Series Luna so that I can get some finish, whereas with the Rubber Blend, it's going to finish moving right every time. Alright, let's get into the real bag. I'm going to start with my slowest disc. This is the Castoplast Berg in K1 plastic. You have to have heard about these. If I'm the first person to tell you, then you've been blessed and you should go buy one. This is the Eric Oakley Tour Series Berg, and some people call it the Bjorg, the EO Berg. It's a fun version of what's already a great disc. The K1 Berg can hold a lot of torque, so I can use this forehand and backhand. In the past, I've bagged both a K1 Berg and a K3 Berg so that I can have straight shots to finish and straight shots to turn over. In the last few months, I've moved away from throwing the Bergs really hard and towards softly throwing the Lunas that I bag as well, so this has been getting more work from closer than it had been before. But this is a great disc to hit and sit. You're not going to see your bird running away if you land it with most angles. However, a bird is one of the best get-out-of-jail-free roller discs there is, in my opinion. If you've played with me in the last couple of years, you've probably seen me get out of jail with a stupid herb roller shot that really should just be a pitch out, and somehow I'm putting. So get yourself a cast splice bird. Next step up in stability and speed for me is a West Side Harp and BT hard plastic. This is a fun stamp that was on the shelves recently in Millennium Games, and so I had to grab it. I've bagged a harp since I first started playing. It's super reliable, and I haven't bagged the and I haven't bagged the BT hard plastic for very long, so I'm still learning about it. I've been mostly into VIP plastic, and that I could be going back to soon. This BT hard is beating in nice and slowly, which I still appreciate, because in the medium and the soft plastic in particular, they start to warp really soon, and a turnover harp is kind of fun to have in the bag, but that's not why I carry a harp. Next up is a Soft Electron NV. This is intentionally in the inverse colors of the James Conrad commemorative NV. I have one of those as well, and I was bagging them together for a while, but I decided that I could trust the soft plastic on hyzer in the same way that I could trust the firm plastic flat. So I have been really enjoying throwing this disc. I got an ace on it recently at Ellison Park, and so it's staying in the bag until it's absolutely dead, because ace discs are good luck. Next is a Glow Z Meteor from Discraft. A Meteor is a really great beginner disc, but also it is a really great woods disc for a more advanced player. I find that I'm able to shape a Meteor really nicely, even at relatively low speed. So I use this when I need to carry right off the tee the whole time, talking about a right-hand backhand, turning over the whole time, or in some cases, because I love to throw hyzer flip shots on straight gaps, I will hyzer flip it, like, for instance, Frommer's hole F, for those of you local Rochesterians, that I parked that hole a couple times with this disc, because its hyzer flip and glide is pretty solid even at relatively high speeds for Meteor. This factory second, lab second, is a Axiom Hex. This is an overstable mid-range. I think a lot of people might compare it to a overstable Buzz. I have bagged Buzzes for a long time, and I found that I could trust this Hex just a bit more on forehands in particular, but also on a more full power shot. With the Buzz, I had to guard a little bit against turning over towards the middle or the end of the flight, and while I like that as a hyzer flip thrower, I can trust this on forehand as well, and that's got a lot of value to me in the woods. The reason I need a straight carrying forehand in the woods is because of my next disc, the Buzz OS. I think that most players have a really overstable mid-range in their bag to help them get out of jail or to help them carry on shots. Even if you're a beginner, you probably should have an overstable mid-range in your bag, even if the mid-range is the fastest disc you're throwing right now. I prefer the Buzz OS because it comes out nice and clean for me on a forehand, and it has enough glide to get where I need to go, but it's not likely to catch a wind and all of a sudden be 60 feet away from where I was aiming at. I'm pretty likely to turn this over into a headwind, but still be able to get the finish. So I really trust a Buzz OS, and I bagged other overstable discs. I recently reviewed the Mutant, and that just didn't have enough glide to do what I feel like I need an overstable mid to do. I've also bagged a Rock X3 for a really long time in a similar position, but not quite as trustworthy by it.